Hello, humans of the earth, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful day. My name is Dana.
And my name is Heidi.
And this is Fun Times with Dana and Heidi. In this episode, we'll be covering the latest positive news stories from this week. But first, we have our beloved tweet of the week. This tweet comes from @viewsfromJ23, and it says, "Girls use multicolored pens to take the most beautiful looking notes and then get a C on the exam." And I have very specific memories attached to this tweet. I remember in middle school, there were these pens, and they were called Papermate pens. And they were called Papermate pens. And
they were expensive.
Like, they were expensive. They were bougie pens, but not only were they bougie pens, they were like all the rage. And so you would like open your journal, just be like a rainbow, chaotic. It was a lot. But you did make me enjoy taking notes more, because what I would do when I was in middle school, I would order the markers in such a way where it was like a rainbow. That way I could just have a system and I wouldn't have to be like, oh, this color now this color. So it was just like a consistent system, And
so you were organized, or
I would do it so like one topic was red, one topic was orange, and that way I would like associate them with different things. So it helped me. Now I don't use that. Now I've aged. I'm a little old woman, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really use multicolored pens anymore. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I can see where Jay, because I think he or she's the one who wrote this. I don't know. It could be a boy's or girl's name. But I remember some people would be so focused on having their notes so aesthetically pretty that they like didn't like study and get the information like in their brains, because they were just so focused on getting it.
Like I don't understand how people can like take the time to make their notes like in cursive and then like with like the borders, and you have to do like the little like bullet journal,
something out of Pinterest, right?
Yeah, something straight off of Pinterest. Like that takes time, and I don't have time.
Okay, moving on to our first news story. There's a plane going overhead of me. Can y'all hear that? It's like a boom.
Yeah, I could hear it.
Now we wait.
Yes. Okay, well, I don't hear it anymore, so I think it's good.
Okay. So for our first news story, we have Inside Edition's YouTube video on how this refugee made millions with donuts. And if you guys know me and Dana, we love to vary our sources. Like, we don't just get our news stories from one specific source. We get things from TikToks, MSN, and today we have it from YouTube. So this Cambodian man named MSN, and today we have it from YouTube. So this Cambodian man named Ted Ngoy immigrated to California in 1975 as a refugee and started a successful donut chain. And he moved to LA after the government imposed. So that, yeah, I understand why he would move, because I would move too. And obviously on the video, it showed a picture of them moving, and it was very like, it seemed very grueling. I cannot imagine myself doing that. But within 3 years of him moving, he became a millionaire. And the new documentary, The Donut King, shows the rise and falls of his career. And the director of the Donut King movie documentary is named Alice Gu, and she recounts, and she's basically like the narrator type of thing, and she was directing it, and she was saying how this story is unique because it shows the success of an immigrant story. And so what he did to keep his donut shop alive and going, because it's still here today, if you visit LA in your little plane or private jet, not now. Yeah, so he hired other Cambodian families to keep the business going and sponsored more than, guess the number. It's a high number to sponsor.
I don't know what number it is.
100. More than 100 Cambodian families.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a very like long process too, because my dad sponsored his brother, and it was a 10-year process.
10 years?
Yes, it was a 10-year process, and it was crazy. So when I saw the number of 100 Cambodian families, I was like, I'm a king. it came sponsoring them to come to the United States. He provided them with jobs and housing. And now that I think about it, I think sponsoring back then was a lot easier than it is now.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, he provided them jobs and housing in his shop. And his model of hiring local members and members of his own nationality, the model worked so well that for a long time, other donut chains such as Dunkin' Donuts, Shipley's, they were unsuccessful in creating their own market in LA. And that's big, right, Dana?
That is big. Oh my gosh, not have Shipley's be a competitor. Shipley's is like supreme. Shipley's be a competitor. Shipley's is like supreme tier. So those donuts have got to be good.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it was, when I saw that, I was like, dang, because now like Dunkin' Donuts with like the Charlie drink and all, like it's pretty,
The
it's
Charlie
all the hype.
D'Amelio drink.
I really want to try that drink, by the way, but I have not because I cannot handle. I really want to try that drink, by the way, but I have not because I cannot handle coffee. Anyways.
Celebrity meals are such a strange concept, but we already talked about that enough in our previous episode. You should go check it out.
Our previous, no, not our last episode, but our last episode.
Yes,
the Travis Scott meal. Episode. Please check that one out.
Yes.
His donut shop was brought from the ties of his community rather than large corporations because his donut change, Ted Noy's donut change, did not have extensive marketing like Dunkin' Donuts did. So we can see that close ties brought a greater following. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now that I think about it, I would rather like between someone marketing it on the TV and someone telling me, oh yeah, this donut place is so good. Like I'm probably gonna follow my friend's advice because your friend's advice is the truthful. His wealth was estimated to be $20 million until he lost everything due to his gambling addiction.
No. This is why you don't gamble, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine having $20 million. Imagine that's like when you pay for college. College is like what? Like 4 years, like $100,000
of debt
of debt times 10 times 20. You could pay for college 200 times. 200 times.
I
with
know
that money, and he lost it all. Because of gambling. Don't do that.
Do not do that.
Responsible.
But Fun Times with Dana and Heidi is a positive podcast outlet. Yes. So before he crashes and burns, he sold his shops to the Cambodian families and he got back up on his feet. So now more than 90% of independent donut shops in LA, Los Angeles, for those of our international listeners, are owned by Cambodian families. More than 90%.
That's crazy.
Thanks
all
to Ted
man.
Yeah, all thanks to Ted
icon.
Nguyen. And guess what? He left behind so much more than what he lost. And he still visits the United States because now he lives in Cambodia.
I love that for him. Yes, he's going out here, doing his thing, getting coin. We love that for him. And he's an immigrant. Period. I love that for him. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the next news story, and that is mine. So I thought this was really interesting, and it really caught my attention when I was researching. So it is what we will be discussing today. So as you know, I don't know if you guys cover this in your history or in your geography classes. I don't know if you guys cover this, but I know that a big thing in my geography class and Heidi's too, it was like hunter-gatherer societies and that sort of concept. And so what we are taught is that men were the ones who were, doing the hunting, out with like spears and whatnot. And the women were the ones that were gathering plants, with flowers in their hair, yada, yada, yada. But a new archaeological discovery has proved that to be false, and well, not completely false, but it has really contradicted that idea. And so it's a really amazing discovery. So a group of archaeologists exploring the Peruvian Andes Mountains have discovered Peruvian Andes. Yes. A group of a group of archaeologists containing the remains of a 9,000-year-old skilled huntress. That's a long time
Wow.
ago. And so she was like according to their findings, she was like supreme tier because she had like a grave and everything. And when you have that designated like tombstone for someone who has fallen, especially in like those really ancient times, then it's got to be someone pretty important. And so the archaeologists saw that, and then upon further examination, they're like, oh, they thought it was a man, and then they were like, wait a minute, this is not a man, this is a woman. And so they re-examined the other graves that were near because they thought the same too. They thought that they were all men, but a lot of them were actually women. And so they realized that there was not only male hunters, but also female huntresses who were out there, doing what they had to do. Their study suggests that hunting was not an activity exclusively for men, but it was rather gender neutral. And so I think that's a really interesting discovery. And I hope that it changes the way that sort of aspect of human history is taught, to future history and geography classes.
Because men, me and Dana and women and other females are coming for your job. I'm kidding. Imagine.
Yes, I love that. I love that statement. We love a powerful woman. So now we are going on to the science talks. And so I'm sure that especially right now, it's it's basically the middle of the school year, very stressful. I mean, at least for us, very stressful, very not fun. I'm not having a good time. But anyway, so with that, I'm not having a good time. But anyway, so with that, extra workload from school there tends to be less or a lack of sleep because, or at least a reduced amount of sleep because of that increased workload.
Been there, done that.
Yes, been there, done that. But a recent scientific study has uncovered be aware of your surroundings and adopt mindfulness. So it sounds kind of like dumb, but it actually has like scientific evidence that backs it. So mindfulness is basically when you are completely aware of like your senses and your surroundings and what you are doing. So it's not just like an automatic thing where like, oh, I'm a machine and let me do this, whatever. You're aware, you're self-aware of what you're doing and where you are in place and time. And so you're focused on what you're sensing and feeling, and you have that you're able to connect in that way, you're not just like a robot, you sleep for an extra 29 minutes each night. Then you will improve your mindfulness and view the world with more patience and less stress. And so I think that is an advice that we could all take right now, pretty useful, pretty applicable. And yeah, just an extra 29 minutes, an extra practically half an hour, an extra half hour, and you'll be good.
I love this, although I'm not so sure how I would apply it in my own daily life, because what I've noticed is not every day am I up till 11 p.m., but since my body is so used to sleeping late, the day where I can sleep earlier, for example, like 9 p.m., my body's not used to it, so I can't fall asleep. Like how?
Yes.
Like
There's a
I'm like in that
hyper-Heidi.
cycle of sleeplessness.
Yeah, it's because you like have your own like
big words, big words, Dana.
It's just like where your body, all it is that your body is programmed to like be awake at this time and get tired at this time based on the schedule that you set for yourself. So
yeah. I think I need to figure my life out because I need sleep. Like I'm tired, but no matter how tired I am, like I can't sleep.
Sleep is important, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you need to sleep. And so, even if you sleep for, if you sleep for 30 minutes, do an extra 30 minutes and you will be more mindful as a result. So now we are moving on to the next segment, which is Heidi Reviews. And Heidi is very excited about this book. We are reading it for class. Very, very transforming, life transforming, important and significant book, especially during these times. So Heidi, do you want to share with us?
Yes, so today I am going to be reviewing the book Play, How It Shapes the Brain, Opens the Imagination, and Invigorates the Soul. So that is a wordy title, but it really is the best book, one of the best books I've ever read. I was gonna say written, but no, absolutely
No,
not.
imagine Me Too by Heidi.
Yes. And Stuart Brown wrote this wonderful gem, not me. And he is a very smart man that who researches and studies how play shapes the brain and increases someone's performance in different aspects. And me and Dana, we have read the first 5 chapters, right? The first 5
Yeah,
chapters
I
of the
think
book.
so. Yeah, and there's not that many chapters. Like it's really
Oh,
not
actually?
long. Yeah, I think we're already like we're on chapter 5, but we're pretty into the book. I think like maybe halfway.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I believe Dana. So, in those 5 chapters, he doesn't just say his opinions, he backs them up with like
Yes.
evidence.
Yeah, it's not just like some weird preachy thing and you're like, what is this dude talking
Yeah,
about? No,
and no matter what science says, the earth is definitely flat.
Yes, this man has studied the concept of play, what it's like, how it develops us as people and how it affects our relationships with others. And so he studied this for like, this is his career. Like he's built a career on studying the concept of play. And I think he's like, I don't know if he's like a biologist or a doctor. He has an MD, so I'm assuming he's a doctor.
He's a professional player.
I love that for him. And so, yeah, he's super smart and he has evidence to back up literally every point he will ever make throughout the book. Super amazing. Just really great advice in it. And we totally recommend it. Heidi, what do you give it out of 10?
Yeah, I would give a 10 out of 10 because the biggest takeaway that he wrote in the book, I know I'm only halfway done, but I can already see like what he's about to say in his big theme and takeaway, is play is very important. It will lead to so many positive effects, and you don't have to play. You don't play to get something out of it. You play just for fun.
Yeah, just doing things that make you happy is just the key to having that sense of joy in your life and not, burning out prematurely or being unhappy. So yeah,
and me and Dana's form of play is this podcast. Like this is our break. Like we no longer need to have our head stuck in a book or nose stuck in a book. No, this is play. So I suggest everyone who's listening to this to play. And I know play is associated with like childness, but I would say anything that relieves one's stress. So whether that's painting or basketball for you, that's your play. And I suggest you guys to play before you become vegetative.
Yes, we don't want to be vegetative, not in this house. So Heidi, do you want to close off with our wonderful motivational quote before we leave?
So for today's motivational quote that you will be taking with you for 2 weeks until our next episode is, kindness is seeing the best in others when they cannot see it in themselves. Ractivist by Ractivist. And yes, everyone is a good person. Well, I would suggest most people are good people. Most people are good people once you really get to know them. And that's what I learned in life and through To Kill a Mockingbird. A wonderful book.
Oh, yes, I love that book. So, yeah, no.
Any last words, Dana, before I have to close?
No, just take that advice with you, let it settle, process it, and make sure to see the world with kindness, view others with kindness, and just really see the best in others and not just judge people because you don't like them. Like just go with the flow.
Yes, don't judge people, love them. So thank you for listening. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram at funtimeswdh. That is funtimes, the letter WDH, for memes, updates, and more. So that's where you can really get to know us because we respond to all of our comments. We enjoy positive feedback or critical feedback.
or you bashing us in the comments, we'll still respond.
Even if you bash and trash us in the comments, we will respond
with a little heart.
Yes, like thank you for taking the time. Imagine being all petty. Honestly, sounds like something that I would do.
Okay, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Goodbye.